Hello, parents. My name is Coach Hailey. I've been with Capital Debate for 5 years already. And this summer, we've had such an amazing time. And I have to say, I'm super, super, super proud of everything the students were able to accomplish in just 1 week. Okay. So first of all, this was one of our spirit on one of our school spirit. We had Crazy Hat Day this week. We also had Crazy Shades. So we were able to have such a great time with school spirit. And as you can see here in this photo, this really does demonstrate and display how awesome the students did and how engaged they were. Because we always tell the students, well, we want you to deliver a great speech for public speaking. We also want you to enjoy and have fun because we don't want it to feel like school, but more like a camp experience, although we aren't in person. So this was just one of our spirit days. We also had a talent show where everyone was able to display talent. Caitlin showed us her different books and hats. Olivia was able to show us her awesome paintings, and they were super creative, especially we like the wolf one. Akash, his Rubik's cubes, and we hope that you do get to the different championships. And then Devin also showed us his baseball skills. And if he had more room, he said that he would also show his soccer skills as well. We know that you are very athletic as well. So this was a great bunch of students. We learned, we had fun, and I wish I had them again. I really do wish I have them again. If they don't continue debate, I definitely just wish them the most of luck because they're all destined to succeed, especially with the effort they have given. All right, let's begin. The first one is Olivia. Olivia was actually a role model. She was one of the oldest students here, but she just blended well with them. She was an inspiration, and she definitely worked hard. I saw her come out of her shell from the first day to now. So I'm super, super proud of you, Olivia. Next up, we have David. David's a little ball of energy. We definitely appreciate your enthusiasm during the different games we played during team building. And then during his speech, you will see we spoke about vocal variety and speaking from your stomach up. And we saw how David was able to change his voice and really deliver it with passion. Then next up, we have Akash. Akash is so passionate about debate. I definitely can see him moving forward. He's determined. He's always on time, one of the first ones there, and he has had a lot of determination this week. So we definitely appreciate your determination, Akash, as well as your spirit this week. Next up, we have Caitlin. Caitlin's a ball of energy as well. She's able to become so much more confident. And we had a great discussion today earlier. We were speaking about what is something you enjoyed. And Caitlin said, you know what, I enjoy feeling more confident, especially about speaking. So that was something that I really did appreciate because I do see your confidence with that and your enthusiasm during the different games as well. Caitlin's definitely a fun student to have around, a good balance. All right, parents, we definitely would love to hear your voice. I have sent all of you a survey via email, and I know Capital Debate does it as well. If you have time, we would definitely love to hear your voice. Capital Debate in general really, really looks at these surveys. They take them seriously. And if there's a suggestion you have, a way we can improve, or something you would like, definitely do not hesitate to share. Your choice, definitely. And then for the students, we worked on their survey a little bit earlier today, so they were able to complete it. So the students are all set with their surveys. Overall, we just want to hear your voice. Capital Debate is all about having students advocate for themselves and really, really put their full effort. So we definitely would love to hear their voice and your voice. We appreciate both of you supporting Capital Debate's mission and model and really going full effort with this. Today only, we have the coupon code Next Class 2020. I can also email this to you as well, so that way you have it. It's $50 off the next camp. I know a few parents were inquiring about it. These are a few of our camps. We have business communication. We have legal communication, where they would do a mock trial as if they were in court. We have interpersonal communication. That's where they learn I statements, conflict resolution, and then they will also do a few interviewing skills at interpersonal communication. We also have STEM communication. And since this was public speaking 101, they can move forward and debate 102. That's when they start getting more public speaking skills, but that's when they dig into debate and debate 102. Then we have debate 201, 301, and 401 as well. I can definitely see this class being passionate on any of these programs. And I'm also going to send you individual progress reports too to see a few of my recommendations. But overall, I see the students definitely progressing with debate for sure. We also have the Fall League. The registration is now open. You probably have had, excuse me, many emails for it. We have monthly debate tournaments, weekly debate practice. We also have weekend workshops because we know a lot of the students are going back to school, or different online resources. So we have so much to offer the students for the fall. And I know so many parents have been inquiring. If you have questions, you can definitely reach out to me or to Capital Debate, and we would definitely love to hear if you would want to join us in the fall, whether it's once a week, twice a week, or just in a weekend. We would love to have them progress with debate. And then you could save $100 until August 14th if you join now. Once again, if you have any questions with the debate league, you can definitely reach out to me or anybody from the Capital Debate team, and we will answer your questions and walk you through how the process is. A lot of the students learn how to debate, and I was able to be a judge. I didn't work last fall, but it was so awesome being a judge and seeing the students super passionate through virtual learning. Keep in touch. This was our second one. We had our next Camp Spirit. We had Shades Day, so we were able to have so much fun with the different shades. So this was super fun. Definitely keep in touch. As I said in the email, and I really mean that. If the students ever need a recommendation letter in the far future, I know they're still young now, or if you have any questions or advice about how they could continue with debate, definitely reach out to me. You all have my email. I am Coach Hailey, and whatever I can do to help, I'll definitely do it. This was a great team, and I definitely would want to continue keeping in touch with them. All right, next up, we have our fun awards. Our first one is for Olivia, Master at Leadership. As I said earlier, she's a leader. She's one of the oldest ones, but she was able to really mentor and work with the students. She's also creative. Her creativity and her art was so beautiful. We hope that she continues showcasing that. Next up, we have David. He's a master of voice projection and enthusiasm. He always has so much excitement. He has so much energy, and he loves to change his voice to really emphasize the specific points, especially he's doing the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. So he likes to dig deep into that, the character and into that role. Then we have Akash. Akash is a master of technology. He was actually walking us through a few things this morning on how to change it to PDF, and he had a lot of parent support with that as well, and it looked awesome. And ambition. I see him every time I give them opportunities to practice. I see Akash really, really digging deeper and trying to improve himself. He has a lot of self-motivation and ambition that would definitely get him really far. Then we have Caitlin, master of persistence. When we had break time, I kind of give them time to like relax a little bit, but some of them, they just want to stay on. Sometimes we even stay on through break just to have fun, play games. And then I see Caitlin with her Rubik's Cubes and how persistent she is for that. But not only with the Rubik's Cubes and the little games we play at Scribble, she's also persistent in her speech. She's grown a long way from Monday through Friday, and she feels a sense of pride and passion. Everything she does with passion, especially while she is speaking. All right, that was my conclusions with the slideshows. Capital Debate will review, edit all these slides, and then they will definitely send you these awards via email. Don't worry. And this is also recorded just in case a parent wasn't able to join, or if you want to see it at a later date. Capital Debate will also send you the recording. All right. So I hope you are ready, parents, for a stellar and awesome, awesome, awesome performance. I'm so proud of them. They have done everything with heart and passion, and they have all recited as a specific excerpt from a historical speech. All of these are famous historical speeches. So for the first one, we have Akash giving the Gandhi A Quit to India speech. I hope you are ready and sitting down in your seats for these awesome and stellar performances. All right, Akash. Just remember to unmute yourselves and be ready in formation.
I discovered that as a man and as an Indian, I had no rights. More correctly, I discovered I had no rights as a man because I am an Indian, as stated by civil rights activist Mahatma Gandhi. Good afternoon, Capitol Debate staff, students, and parents. My name is Akash, and you will learn in Gandhi's speech, Quit India, about him wanting the British Empire to leave and to inspire his Muslim and Hindu audience to be together in a peaceful way. According to Britannica, he addressed this speech on August 8, 1942 at Bombay because he wanted to unify against British colonizers. Now place yourself in his point of view, and I hope you are prepared for the speech and movement. Before you discuss the resolution, let me place before you one or two things. I want you to understand two things very clearly and to consider them from the same point of view from which I am placing them before you. I ask you to consider from the same point of view because if you approve of it, you'll be enjoined to carry all out I said. It will be a great responsibility. There are people who ask me whether I'm the same man that I was in 1920 or whether there has been any change in me. You are right in asking that question. Let me, however, hasten to assure that I'm the same Gandhi that I was in 1920. I've not changed in any fundamental respect. I attach the same importance to nonviolence that I did then. If at all, my emphasis on it has grown stronger. There's no real contradiction between the present resolution and my previous writings and utterances. Let me explain my position clearly. God has vouchsafed me to a priceless gift in the weapon of Ahishma. I and my Ahishma are on a trail today if in the present crisis, when earth is being scorched by the flames of hymns and crying for deliverance, I fail to make my use of God-given talent. God will not forgive me, and I shall be judged right of the great gift. I must act now. I may not hesitate and merely look on when Russia and China are threatened. Ours is not a drive for power, but purely a non-violent fight for India's independence. In a violent struggle, a successful general has been often known to effect a military coup and has set up a dictatorship. But under the Congress scheme of things, they're essentially non-violent as it is, there can be no room for dictatorship. A non-violent soldier of freedom will covet nothing for himself. If he will only fight the freedom of his country. The Congress is unconcerned as to who will rule when freedom is attained. The power, when it comes, it will be to the people of India, and it will be them to decide. It will be for them to decide whom it is placing the entrust in. That party did not play its due part in the freedom struggle. Why should it have all the power? Ever since its inception, the Congress has kept itself maliciously free of the communal taint, as thought always in terms of the whole nation and has acted accordingly. I know how imperfect our Ahishma is. I have faith in Ahishma, therefore, that in spite of our shortcomings, the big thing does happen. It will be because God wanted to help us with craft success or silent unwritten sadhana for the last 22 years. I believe that in the history of the world, there has not been a more gently diplomatic struggle than the freedom of ours. Thank you for your time.
Wow, thank you so much, Akash. I even got chills. I love your voice. Okay. Second up, we have David with the powerful Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. Don't forget to stand in position and unmute yourself.
Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. As stated by Martin Luther King Jr. Good afternoon, Capitol Debate staff, students, and parents. My name is David, and you will hear the I Have a Dream speech by civil rights activist Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was passionate about helping to end racism in the United States. According to socialstudies.com, King's Dream speech played an important role in helping pass the 1964 Civil Rights Act. At this moment, I'm Martin Luther King, and you will hear my inspiring message. I am happy to join you in today, what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 5 years ago, a great American, in those symbolic shadows we stand today, signed the Antarctic Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon of light to the hopes of the millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to the end of long night captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the menaces of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of the vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro finds himself in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here to dramatize a shameful condition. The Constitution said that this note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unreliable lights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so we've come here to demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. Now is the time to make the real promises of the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. The sweltering summer of the Negro's limited discount will not pass until there is an invigorating summer of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. And there will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizens' right. The whirlwind of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Such a powerful speech by Martin Luther King Jr. Now we have up Caitlin. Just remember to unmute yourself, what you did, and we have the awesome Helen Keller Strike Against War speech.
Be not dumb, obedient slaves in an army of destruction. Be heroes in an army of construction. By American author Helen Keller. Good afternoon, Capitol Debate staff, students, and parents. My name is Caitlin, and you will learn about political activist Helen Keller. She was the first blind deaf person to earn a bachelor's degree. Her speech, Strike Against War, is an anti-war speech against the capitalism that brought selfishness and discrimination. I will now put myself in her shoes and deliver this powerful speech. Friends, fellow workmen, patriots, your country is in danger. There are foes on all sides of us. There is nothing between us and our enemies except the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. Look at what has happened to Belgium. Consider the fate of Serbia. Will you murmur about low wages when your country, your very liberties, are in jeopardy? Quit your whining. Get busy and prepare to defend your firesides and your flag. Get an army. Get a navy. Be ready to meet invaders like the loyal-hearted freemen you are. Will workers walk into this trap? Will they be fooled again? I'm afraid so. They know that their citizenship papers are no warrant for the safety of themselves or their wives and children. They know that honest sweat, persistent toil, and years of struggle bring them nothing worth holding on to, worth fighting for. Yet, deep down in their foolish hearts, they believe they have a country. Oh, blind vanity of slaves! They're taught that brave men die for their country's honor. What a price to pay for an abstraction! The lives of millions of young men, other millions crippled and blinded for life. Existence made hideous for still more millions of human beings, the achievement and inheritance of generations, swept away in a moment, and nobody better off for all the misery. This terrible sacrifice would be comprehensible if the thing you die for, called country fed, clothed, housed and warmed you, educated and cherished your children. I think workers are the most unselfish of the children of men. They toil and live and die for other people's country, other people's sentiments, other people's liberties, and other people's happiness. The workers have no liberties of their own. They are not free when they are compelled to work 10, 12, or 10 or 8 hours a day. They are not free when they are ill paid for the exhausting toil. They are not free when their children must labor in mines, mills, or in factories or starve, and when their women may be driven by poverty to lives of shame. They are not free when they are clubbed and imprisoned because they go on, strike for the ways of wages, and for the elemental justice that is their right as human beings. We are not free unless the men who frame and execute the laws represent the interests of the lives of the people with no other interest. The ballot does not make a free man out of a wage slave. There has never existed a truly free and democratic nation in the world. It is your business to see that no child is employed in an industrial establishment or mine or store, and that no worker is needlessly exposed to accident or disease. It is your business to make them give you clean cities, free from smoke, dirt, and congestion. It is your business to make them pay you a living wage. Strike against all laws that continue the slaughter of peace and the butcheries of war. Strike against war, for without you, we fought.
Thank you so much. Very, very powerful, Caitlin. Very powerful speech on Helen Keller. Last but not least, we have Olivia giving the John F. Kennedy Moon speech. And then after this, we'll get together and share our positive experience about camp.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. By former President John F. Kennedy. Good afternoon, Capitol Debate staff, students, parents. Today, you'll hear an inspiring speech on John F. Kennedy's moon speech. Kennedy's stirring, soaring moon speech delivered at Rice University in Houston about why he believes sending astronauts to Earth's nearest neighbor by the end of the 1960s was so important, as stated by Britannica. He gave a speech to give the citizens at Rice University excited about the exploration of space. It needed support because it was one of the most expensive programs that ever been funded. Today, 58 years later, the speech is still powerful, and you'll hear why. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm particularly delighted to be here on this occasion. Despite the striking fact that most of the scientists the world has ever known are alive and working today, despite the fact that this nation's own scientific manpower is doubling every 12 years in a rate of growth more than 3 times that of our population as a whole, despite that, the vast stretches of the unknown and the unanswered and the unfinished still far outstrip our collective comprehension. No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we've come, but condense, if you will, the 50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of but a half century. Stated in these terms, we know very little about the first 40 years, except at the end of them, advanced man has learned to use the skins of animals to cover them. Then, about 10 years ago, under this standard, man emerged from his caves to construct other kinds of shelter. Only 5 years ago, man learned to write and use cart with wheels. Christianity began less than 2 years ago. The printing press came this year, and less than 2 months ago, during this whole 50-year span of human history, the steam engine provided a new source of power. Newton explored the meanings of gravity. Last month, electric lights, telephones, automobiles, and airplanes became available. Only last week did we develop antibiotics, television, nuclear power, and now, if America's new spacecraft succeeds in reaching the moon, we'll have literally reached the stars before midnight tonight. This is a breathtaking pace, and such a pace cannot help but create new ills as it dispels old, new ignorance, new problems, new dangers. Surely, the opening vistas of space promise high costs and hardships, as well as high reward. Many years ago, the great British explorer George Mallet, who was to die on Mount Everest, was asked why he wanted to climb it. He said, "Because it is there." Well, space is there, and we're going to climb it. And the moon and the planets are there, and new hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous, dangerous, and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. Thank you.
Amazing and powerful speech, Olivia. At this moment, can I have all the students come on? Parents, we're almost done. We're just going to debrief for about 2 minutes, and the students are going to share, share what they enjoyed, and we're going to reflect our last reflection. All right. So before, we just want to say thank you to all the parents for supporting Capital Debate, for helping the students with their speeches, and for really, supporting us. That's what we really want to say, and for taking the time to come here. We know a lot of you are super busy, and you took the time to see your students. So we definitely appreciate. Now we're going to share 2 things, and we're done in about 2 minutes. All right. So let's share what is one fun thing we had this week. Who wants to go first? Caitlin. And then David.
When we were playing Scribble, we were being Karens, and we were saying, "Can I talk to the manager? I need my money back. My son just choked on a bottle cap. Give me
David?
that money."
Honestly, I really like just like fooling around and like Scribble because we like put like 8 accounts in each one, and it got so unfair. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I know the word, so in 8 other accounts I'm gonna fill it in, and I was like, that was really and got really annoying.
Akash, and then Olivia.
One fun thing was actually gathering research on this speech, because I learned more information that I didn't really know, and it was sort of fun.
Perfect. And Olivia?
I liked playing Scribble because everybody kept drawing like tree-looking things. So in the chat, there was always at least one person who said tree.
I agree. Scribble seems to be a fun thing throughout Capital Debate, but especially our class. We definitely had fun. I made it a chance for them to feel comfortable. All right, what is one thing that you learned about yourself this week? And then we'll just close it out. Akash, and then David?
I learned to gather confidence and like be more a leader, and I also enjoyed like your fun way of teaching.
Thank you, Akash. David?
I just enjoy like trying to see how to say properly a speech or say stuff properly.
Perfect. And you improved a lot as soon as we gave the speech on voice projection and changing your voices. You all caught on. So it's not about, we had fun with the lessons, but you all applied it. All right, Caitlin, and then Olivia. I think you're muted, Caitlin. Perfect. Caitlin, you're muted, honey.
What was the question again? Sorry.
It's okay. What is something you learned about yourself?
Well, I learned that I could be more confident, and I didn't have to say every time I didn't know what to say.
Perfect. A lot of you didn't even use filter words at all, parents, and to think that this is only their first intro to debate, I'll be surprised. If I literally would think they had way more experience because they were dedicated. This is what a dedicated group of students looks like. Okay, last but not least, Olivia.
Yeah, I also gained more confidence. I learned to speak louder and how to vary my voice when speaking.
Yes, very good. All right, so everyone was able to learn a lot, and I was able to learn a lot about all of you. This is my first time I'm teaching alone, so I'm glad that you all gave me such a great experience. All right, I just wanted to say thank you again, parents, and thank you, students. We are now over. You guys can enjoy your summer and apply these public speaking skills if you do debate in the future, but mainly apply these to your life, to school, to your parents, and in your future jobs, because I know all of you will be super, super successful. All right, guys. Bye, students. I'll definitely miss you guys. Hopefully, I see you guys next week. I'll be here one more week. And then bye, parents. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it.